our first look at some action with what Magistus can do. Argos leaping into full action out here. Gladiator Beast, Meteor Logic. I gotta tell you, there's some good innovations. You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. I have seen more innovations out here with Supreme Darkness than I initially thought, kind of starting things off with this set. I thought things were going to be pretty awful, but time has gone on and we have seen much more interesting things developing out here. Now, this is a very small package of Magister rank 4 action, actually showcasing the power of Spoon in this deck with Zoroa and our one extra little card featuring what you can do in Rizal with this package. Now, I do find that this deck is actually kind of freaking funny out here. The fact that you have all of this little extra stuff that you can kind of jam pack into a deck like this and actually have Rizal be working, it's just one more haha funny interaction that we have access to out here. But this does prove how stupidly strong Rizal can be when you're packaging up all of this extremely good rank 4 package stuff into a deck showcasing its power. All right, we have some Ubel action for you here. Now, the reason why I chose to include this was from the same event that we just saw the Magistus list, and this one piqued my interest because the current state that Ubel has been left in the OCG has kind of had some people going, okay, so what do we do to make this deck still be playable out here? And especially with something like Chaos Core popping in here, I love this deck. To all the people out there that love Ubel, I agree with you guys. The deck is still very fun, but now you've been pushed down the totem pole of power out here, and we've been seeing this reassessment of meta actually happening out here. This deck looks more fair than it ever actually has before. Obviously, Summon Sorceress is one of the cornerstones of this deck, giving it some major access to, some major key lines of play, which is very good. And also, Apollosa being a very strong card down here as well. I also see we're citing the third Spirit of Ubel as well, so consistency looking pretty interesting out here for what you can do with this. Next up, we have some Gladiator Beast action for you. Now, I've had a lot of people go, hey, Robbie, have you seen Glads? Are they doing well? In the very early stages, Glads did not perform at all. Glads had a lot of issues. I will say, I have definitely enjoyed more of the Rescue Cat shenanigans that they've been doing with this deck. Being able to have access to Invoker is a gosh darn pretty good thing. Alright, it definitely puts some extra bodies onto the field than you might not have necessarily thought you were capable of doing. But this has been the most recent innovations that I've seen. This build ended up getting first place out of its event, which, you know what, let's clap for it. Looking at Glads, I mean, you're not playing a lot of the old stuff in here. Like, in terms of monsters, I mean, Darius and Equest are probably the two that have kind of survived the test of time, just because of how those cards kind of interact. I mean, a Monster Reborn and add back to hand off of a mill. I mean, it's extremely good where it needs to be. All right, next up here, we have Argos for you. Now, this was a very small tournament out of the OCG, and I was actually very intrigued by this. We are playing the Light Dark Arm Dragon, Vanilla, and the level 4 1900 monster in here. And we're going to be using the Primite stuff to kind of help this deck get its bearings in the way of your opponent, so you can basically try to control the game and do what your deck needs to do. And let me tell you, when you're looking at all of these interactions, also, Silhouette Hat Rabbit getting access to pull out the little Tiki Golem in here, or any of the Argos Star monsters, actually. I think that's one of the coolest things you've got going for you in here, is because all of these are trap monsters, you can do some pretty cool things. And I do hope that we will see another line of support for this deck. Granted, everything that they have now is pretty cool, but they didn't really hit the competitive mark, which I think a lot of people wanted to see for this deck. Speaking of from the same event, now that was 4th place. Now we're moving up to 3rd back here. We have some, wow. It's the Witches, of the Forest. So we are playing 2 of the Azamina monster in here. Of course, Triple Deception with Sacred Azamina. Unfortunately, I gotta be the bearer of bad news out here, but Deception and Sacred Azamina have both just moved very quickly into this deck, alright? You've got to remember the fact that these engines now bridge each other together in terms of combo ability. If you're not looking at these packages or looking at like the analyzation of how things are going in here, I got bad news for you. You're just gonna have a bad time across the board. So you do want to focus on, if you're playing White Forest, you want to have the Sacred Azamina package, because gosh darn it, it is just so stupidly free for this deck. You're doing yourself a disservice by not having access to it. Oh, speaking of, we have even more for you for this. So not only was that third place, this is now second place in this exact same event out here, where you're now getting access to, holy crap, we're playing triple of this. We are doing triple a Stellar with the triple a set with this build. Okay, so we're extending out the packages here. And of course, you know, we're not doing that other little tech choice, the Unending Nightmare, whatever it was from the last West. But this list is doing Muddy Mud Dragon shenanigans with the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Yes, Muddy Mud being like, oh, hey, I can convert myself into a specifically named card, and we can do some haha real funny interactions with it, and all thanks to dear old Albion over there. It's cute. It's okay. We see it pop up from time to time again with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, but it really hasn't had much of a consistent approach to it. I think it's definitely one of those things that you are going to keep an eye on out there, because it's actually kind of cool, to say the least. Ooh. And then winning this event was actually Rizal with full 7th package. Holy crap, this build went only one Sakitama, which is kind of interesting, but this build went above and beyond with the 777 Ascension, the 777 Tachyon. This build wanted to make sure that it could generate as much advantage as it actually could. And I do like that this build is playing the 2 Meteor Logic aggregators. I've reached the point that I've wanted to play 2 Meteor Logic for a while, but I think that that's probably going to be the way to go. Also, only one node in here and one Sakitama. I like multiple Sakitama. It feels so good to be able to extend with it and just generate as much advantage as you actually can with the deck. But outside of that, this deck is definitely a very, very strong deck in the meta. You get the chance to do so many good things with Rizal. And I know, a lot of Rizal content today, but Rizal is super exciting to actually see. Ooh, we have some Cyber Dragon action for you back here. Also, only one Cyber Dragon in the deck, which is comically gold to me, actually. You are playing 2 Clockwork Knights in the main deck. That's fine. I mean, this deck is using the Cyber Dark package as the base to ensure, hey, you know, we're able to go through these lines, do your thing. I mean, 1 Clockwork Knight is fine for the extra deck, because most of the Cyber Dragon package is going to be what you're needing to do. We are playing the 1 Cyber Altanin in here, and we are playing 1 Carnot, the Disappointment, which is fine. Carnot does do its thing when it needs to. We're also relying on Power Bond in here to kind of be that OTK card that you need. Hey, if you can pull off the Power Bond OTK with the right materials, your opponent's probably going to get blown out of the water. I know, right? It's almost like having a modernized Cyber Dragon deck out here. It's able to go through all these combo lines and all these developments was actually a pretty good development for the meta. Then we have some Goblin Bikers back here. This is actually really cool because this is a showcase of what the Meteor Logic support actually can do. We saw a Baby Dragon list last week. That today we're seeing Avion showing up as the vanilla of choice for this deck. I find that very, very cute, actually, that you're getting some love between, you know, Avion. Hey, look, guys, I topped with my favorite hero monster, Avion, in my Goblin Biker, you know, Meteor Logic Scythelock deck. The OCG is actually truly a wonderful place of ideas that you can do. Also, you know, having full Fiendsmith combo in here as well. Actually kind of hilarious. And of course, hey, look, Scythes, and of course, Lancia, so that you can actually do the very unfun Scythelock Lancia loops against your opponent. I hope that someday we can Scythelock our opponents again. Just kidding. Hey, OCG, take note. Scythe is a pretty stupid card. Maybe you guys should do something about that. And then we have this really cool Yugi deck. Actually sporting off the Summon Skull in here, 2 Gandoras, 1 of the Dark Magician. We are doing full Fiendsmith combo in here, which I think is fine. No Silent Swordsman in here. We're just relying on the Marshmallow and the Silent Magician to kind of be the strong things. But we are playing the Silent Sword Slash in here, so you can kind of make the monster stronger. I do see that we are playing 1 copy of the Negate down there. Ooh, that's really spicy for the traps. And then, of course, 2 Book of Eclipse to kind of control your opponent as well. And, of course, there's a lot of cool things going on with this deck. I actually really like this. Maybe I need to test this out. So what do you guys think about all of these cool innovations. Please, if you comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.